Welcome to Monstieur, a show where we discuss and redesign the most horrific icons of entertainment. This week, is he horrifying? Is he terrifying? Yes, but he's a hero. Goliath, leader of the Gargoyles. Enjoy.
Alrighty. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we're here. We're we're going ham. Please, my lovely creatures of the night, my guests, introduce yourselves. Crom, kick things off.
Hello, everybody. I'm Crom, also known as Arthur. I'm an illustrator and comic artist from Mexico, and I guess that's it.
All right, cool.
What's up, everybody? My name is Carlos Mendoza. I'm a director over at Spirit Halloween here in New Jersey. Thanks for having me again.
Nice.
Right on.
Kanji?
Oh, hi, I'm Kanji. I'm from the UK. I'm a part-time storyboard artist and full-time railroad hobo.
Nice to have you. Oof. Yeah, John, you're gonna have to scream into your mic a little bit. You're a little quiet.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan Hernandez. I'm from Mexico. I'm a concept artist.
Hey, good having you. Alrighty, Alexandru.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm from Transylvania, Romania, and I'm also a concept artist and freelance comic book illustrator and all sorts of funny stuff.
Good to have you, man. And I am your host, J.R. Coffrin. This is the holy month of Ramadan, so I made the mistake of saying an Arabic word, and I grew hair in all sorts of weird places. And I mean, all sorts of weird places. You hear that, boys? No, I'm kidding. James could not host today. He is off commanding the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from the confines of a tube. And I have personally taken on the mantle to make sure that Monstieur is adequately run into the goddamn ground. You guys with me? You ready to fuck this shit up?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Alrighty, cool. So what did you guys think of Goliath and Gargoyles? Did you watch it? What's going on?
I personally just I didn't get a chance to look at the cartoon very much. I mean, from my previous kind of research from Demona, like that was like a lot of research already. So I kind of like bled into this one. So I'm kind of excited to see what everybody else learned from it. But
okay, cool. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, anybody else?
I watched the first 2 seasons of the show, I think in the span of a couple of days. I used to watch the show when I was a kid, and I really liked it. I just didn't remember the show being. Some episodes are actually quite dark, and kind of. I just didn't remember some of the characters being so nuanced. I really like the portrayal of Xanatos as a villain. I think he's a very interesting villain because he's not just like a bad guy for being a bad guy's sake or simple greed. He actually, I feel like he kind of respects Goliath as a rival, and I thought that was really interesting. And a good show. I actually quite enjoyed watching it while I was working on this.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that the show was surprisingly dark because it was so it was so interesting to see Disney of all of all producers to put out a show that was trying to do the whole Ninja Turtles thing, and then they come out with this amazing Shakespearean drama with gargoyles, derived from the word gargle. In case you didn't know, they used to spit out water, right? Not all of them had spouts, but yeah, they had an amazing lineup, and their demographic was a little spotty. Like you didn't really know who they were trying to market to, but it ended up just being this show that was at the time like modestly appreciated, but over the years, people who loved it, they really love it. They're
Yeah, I think one of the things that I remember when we were talking about this too is like just how like the stories were so in depth and so deep, and I think that's kind of carries through even when we're starting to like look at all the episodes where Goliath, his interaction with humans and stuff. It's just so different from some of the other characters and their interactions with the humans. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean they handle some like surprisingly dark and realistic subject matter.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's the normal kind of overarching general. They're tackling the darker concepts of what makes humans human, but I mean, I just think it's so fascinating that there are even episodes where they're tackling like misuse of firearms. Like the cop chick, she gets shot and she's bleeding out on the floor, accidentally shot because they didn't lock up their firearm and put the. It's just crazy.
I was quite surprised that there was actual blood in that episode, because if I recall correctly, that was something that we were kind of not allowed to show in media, because I remember someone mentioned about how the show has a lot in common with X-Men. I think yes, but it also has a lot in common with Batman the Animated Series, and I feel like that's probably the demographic they were trying to go for. Because, even Batman, which at the time had also very dark subject matters. I mean, there was literally an episode that was about child slavery, but they never actually went as far as portraying blood, And so when I saw that Gun episode, I was like, whoa, like someone had to pull some strings to allow that to happen.
Imagine trying to do that nowadays.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't fly.
No, that wouldn't fly. It's also like it's probably. I know it's kind of like a topic to talk about, but I do mean this like pretty seriously. It's also like people who complain that we didn't have diverse shows in the past have never watched Gargoyles, because like it has actually quite a diverse cast, and they don't really make any kind of noise about it, like, or whatever. They just present it as fact, like look, this is New York. Very different people live here, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciated a show that could do that without it being preachy about it, or showing it in your face. I thought it was interesting, and they did it in a very, because there's still the theme of prejudice when it comes to the gargoyles and other creatures of the night. So I thought it was pretty cool that they handled that subject very well, I think.
I think so too. Like they showed, they did a good job of showing each point of view from like their own point of view, instead of like a total like 100% caricature, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
How do you guys feel about it being like a show of like for today, like for kids of today? You think they can handle such a show like this one based on what we saw?
No, they're too affected now. Too sensitive.
I can raised on too much Steven Universe for this shit.
Yeah.
I think we underestimate children.
Jonathan, you're muted like big time.
Well, no, he's quiet. He's quiet. You got to scream into your mic, bro. Yeah, he was having mic issues before the show, so it's rough.
I was saying that I think
there
kids
you go.
can handle it, but their dads could not.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we underestimate children. I think if you show this to like a little kid today, they would probably like if you showed them without any kind of background or anything, they would probably take to it. Kids have a surprising capacity to understand what they're seeing.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that I think I kind of agree. It's not that kids wouldn't handle it; it's that their parents probably wouldn't let them watch it.
Yeah, even though most of the parents are basically our generation, they grew up just like we did, and something just switched on their brains, and now everybody is affected, is scared.
Well, I think it's we grew up during a time, I think, where we could watch these types of cartoons pretty much unsupervised. Like in Mexico, stuff like Ranma 1/2 became very popular, and the television network did not realize that Ranma was not a show for kids. So they played that shit without any censorship. So you could see all the titties and like, Saturday morning cartoons. So I think that some of us went, oh, okay, so these are the possibilities of this medium, and this is how far it can go. And other people went, oh no, I don't want my kids to watch this for whatever reason. I don't understand.
I think that was still kind of true when we were kids. At least it was for me. Like, my mother didn't want me watching the X-Men. She didn't want me watching Power Rangers. Like, for the most bizarre of reasons as well. It's like she didn't want me watching X-Men because it had mutants in it. She didn't want me watching Power Rangers because she thought it encouraged violence.
And yet you still watch them, you fiend.
Yes, I still snuck out of bed at like 6 a.m. every morning to watch them.
Yeah, that was the case with Simpsons. To me, it was The Simpsons. Everything else was fine. The Gargoyles was fine. Batman was fine. But The Simpsons, oh no, don't. I still watch them though.
Yeah, I mean, regarding whether or not the kids could handle it today, I think that the kids totally would be able to handle it, but I also think that they wouldn't be very interested. Sadly,
really?
Yeah.
Also,
I think that kids are more interested in more, I guess, upbeat, fantastical subject matter. I don't know if they would have the attention span for like a proper drama with like,
I hate myself for saying this, but I feel like stuff like Fortnite is this generation's Saturday morning cartoons, like Fortnite and Overwatch.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure, but
yeah, because the content on Gargoyles was a little bit more aged up, also. So like, kids don't have that interest in like adult content or adult conversation or whatever. Maybe, I don't know.
You know what?
Again, kids do love anime.
That's true.
It's true. Yeah, you're right.
I was about to say maybe kids who like. I'm pretty sure it would have. Maybe it wouldn't be hugely popular, but it would probably have a niche. I don't know. It might become like a cult film.
Yeah, I think that now thinking about it, it's probably just going to perform today exactly as it did before, and maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just because there is that subculture of people who are interested in anime and maybe even like darker and more serious subject matter.
Or it might be. Here's a third possibility. It might actually be marketed for adults, and it would be written by some hack who thinks that using the word "fuck" like 200 times in the script is equal to adult entertainment, and we will have a second Netflix Castlevania, which, by the way, I hate.
I was about to say, from the producers of Castlevania.
Yeah, I hate that show. You have to hate it. It's such a childish idea of what an adult show is.
Yeah, I couldn't hang with it. I tried. I was a big fan of the game. I couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
I love the games. I remember thinking, well, I'm not such a big fan of the game. I've only played Castlevania 2, 3, Castlevania 64, Symphony of the Night, Area of Sorrow. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I think I'm actually a Castlevania.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Did you guys particularly resonate with Goliath as a character himself?
Yes, a bit. I'm not an 8 foot tall lower tail gargoyle, but I do understand. I vibe a lot with his struggle to be like a wise leader, but his temper getting the best of him. I think that's a real struggle for him. He tries to do the best he can for his people, but he has moments where he just fucking loses it and acts impulsively. And I relate with that a lot as someone who also like sometimes like you try to keep your temper under a lid, but then shit happens and you just.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and he's also like I personally I resonated with the qualities of him being an outsider, somebody who lives on the outskirts of society, who is an idealist and wants the world to do better and be just just a better place. And his struggle is that of leading his people to kind of be that rock for them, and also like kind of he gets disappointed at every turn because he is confronted with the reality of the world not being the way he wants it to be. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's the kind of thing that makes the show interesting to me, is that the dynamic between Goliath and Xanatos is not so much like hero and villain, it's idealist versus realist.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, totally.
It's like to make a comparison, Xavier and Magneto.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Both Goliath and Xavier, I think, see
Yeah.
the world as they would like it to be, and Xanatos and Magneto see the world as it actually is.
Yeah.
But I think that, it doesn't mean that Magneto and Xavier are right. Because they still take extreme stances toward that. None of them. I think what's interesting is that neither of them has a balanced stance. They are on complete opposites, and that's why they're at odds, and that's also why they're in so much conflict all the time.
Exactly.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, who do you think? Open question. Who do you guys think is the more delusional out of the two? Who's more connected to reality, really?
What two are you talking about? Magneto and Xavier, or Goliath and?
Yeah, Goliath and knockoff anxiety medication.
That's a yeah. I think Goliath might be anything for me.
More delusional.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's like trying his best to, like you said, it's like he's trying his best to, but he's just not. He's not complete on the other side either. Like he's just like one extreme to another. Like I'm not sure. I think Goliath probably for me.
Wow. No, personally, I think Xanatos is a little bit more delusional. I think that he has the illusion that he can actually, even though he lives in reality and he's pragmatic and he has shown that he's capable, I think that he really he has that illusion of control, that illusion that he can just plug in the numbers and have things run smoothly, and as a consequence, he's thwarted at every turn by by the Gargoyles. The Garglers.
Well, except those times when he isn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're right.
Except those times where they think they've thwarted him, but that was actually his plan all along, because he's basically an anime villain.
Fair.
I think it's worth noting, though, that Xanathos is not without a moral compass of his own, which is interesting, because I remember the episode when they were turning people into pseudo-animal gargoyles. And I think part of his adverse reaction to the scientist conducting experiments on humans without his knowledge actually did make him mad. Like, I think that's something that that was a very interesting reaction, because it's not something you would expect from a character like Xanathos. And I think that part of him, he's not entirely, like, he lives in reality, but I think his worldview also is a little bit idealistic. I think he just kind of champions humanity in a way, and the delusional part from it comes from the fact that he thinks of himself as a paragon human, of the ideal of what humanity should be, and that sometimes gets in the way of morality, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes he genuinely has some good convictions, which is why he's so interesting, and he's also such a good foil for Goliath, because Goliath is the more idealistic of the two, but at the same time he has kind of a tyrannical side. And that's interesting, because it's kind of like you really cannot put him as hero or villain, because they really just have very different viewpoints.
So they're basically both Magneto and Xavier.
Yeah.
Both of them.
And the best episodes are where that is highlighted, just how complex their worldviews are. It's a great show. I really enjoy watching it.
It's pretty rare to get that level of moral complexity in a children's show of all things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's what we said. We mentioned that last time too. It was so in depth, like the whole storyline. It's deep that even kids are just probably enjoying the action and all the cool stuff in the morning cartoons.
Oh no, definitely, it stuck with me, because I made a conscious decision for this to actually not go back and rewatch it, because I had such fond, strong memories of the show from my childhood. So.
Right.
Yeah. Last follow-up question. Before we hop into our redesigns of this amazing icon, is that type of delusion the specific type that Goliath has? Is it, in your eyes, a positive thing? Is it something that a leader is meant to possess? Does it influence people in a positive way? Does it give people something to fight for?
Yeah, I think it does.
I think it does too.
I think Goliath's delusion.
It remembers me a lot to Optimus Prime, with that leadership and that I don't know, type of character. So I think
I think Goliath's delusion will inspire a lot of his followers and might make the world a better place, but I think it's gonna get him killed. Like, I think it's a type of delusion that will would have eventually turned him into a martyr. And this is the thought I had while I was watching the show, and I went on and read about it. And turns out that the writer had actually planned for Goliath to die eventually. But his death, his sacrifice, would have prompted the UN to regard gargoyles as sentient beings with rights. So I was like, oh, I was proven right.
Yeah, that's the place for the savior trope, the martyr figure in mythology, right?
Yeah.
It's like you champion your ideals, you embody all of the average of the best ideals of your culture, and then in the end you die for them and solidify those ideals into
Yeah.
how most religions start and whatever. Don't want to get all deep. Oh geez, I dressed up like this so that this show could be like lighthearted and like woo, and now we're just like
Yeah, well,
That was,
real life.
that was
That's-
discussing the
that's-
moral complexity of martyrdom in children's cartoons.
Well, all right. Well, let's kick things off with these redesigns. I hope our homie, our moderator, he will start the screen share. Krom, can you please screen share for us and show
okay.
expose yourself, please?
All right. Well,
Hopefully, our moderator will respond in kind and full screen it.
let me see if I can. This should. Okay, so
Nice.
here's one of the images. I had a. Can you guys see it?
No,
No.
I can hear it.
I can.
Something's popping up for me. Yep, there we go.
Okay.
Nice.
Hopefully everybody can see it. But,
Yes, we can all see it now. Oh my God!
So I had. I have this one, and I had this one.
What?
I was a little ambitious about what I wanted to do with Goliath. I actually wanted to. I got the Darkstalkers art book in the mail about a couple of weeks ago, and I just been like rediscovering my childhood and completely in love with the illustrations and that. So I thought I would like to draw Goliath as if he was like what if Capcom designed Goliath?
Oh yeah.
Fighting character, and I came up with this design. I should have started with this one right here.
Yeah.
With the full body, and the idea is that he's kind of like a big brawler type, and the axe is actually a projectile move that you could make, kind of like his Hadouken, and you would have it stashed in his belt at all times. I wanted to draw something really massive and exaggerated. I didn't really go a lot for style. Was more important than making things seem like realistic. Like the chainmail, obviously, like chainmail realistically is very well fitted, but not this well fitted. But I just really like the idea of this guy being so fucking swole that you can see every strand of muscle, even from his chainmail. And I just thought it was cool. I didn't really think he needs that extra protection, but I just thought it's a nice way to break his design.
Man, I can't see anything on mine.
Shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, just to let you know, we can all see it. Yeah, Jitsi gets weird like that sometimes, don't it?
Oh, rip.
Yeah. Also, if you do want to see it, I think that was Carlos. You can have the stream open on another screen or something, and his beautiful work is full screen,
Right.
and yeah, just it looks amazing, dude. It looks amazing. Explain a little bit of the. Oh, go ahead, Kanji.
This is his victory. This is what I envisioned was his victory image, like when he beats the shit out of you.
Oh yes.
I wanted to have something more like I wanted to actually have some dialogue. Don't ever come near my castle and his son ever again, or something like that. But that's kind of
No. You could use that Japanese meme. Omae wa mou shindeiru.
yeah.
Dude, what's his win quote?
I think his win quote is probably it definitely is something like "Stay away from my people," or in my mine, it would depend on who he's fighting. Like if he's fighting Hudson, he would say something like you still have years of fight left in you, my friend. You know, because of that show, because of that episode where Hudson thinks he's too old to fight.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
with Armor Xanatos, he would just be like, "Stay away from my people," you know, like something like that. With Demona, would just be like, "Be gone."
Be gone!
Be gone.
No, yeah. No, sorry.
That's kind of the idea. I got a little too ambitious. I actually wanted to draw a stage, but time just I'm very work saturated right now, so this is all I was able to do.
Oh my God! I would have drawn like a stage, and I would have drawn a character portrait. Man, you went above and beyond the Call of Duty, and I love the design. I love the win pose. I could totally see it as
great, man.
Dude. It's all amazing. What's your favorite part about what you drew for us?
My favorite part, I guess it's how I solved the wings, because I know that the wing cape is very iconic, but I wanted the wings to be also something he could fight with. Because I feel like when you're designing a character in a fighting game, nothing has to be wasted. You want to do something. You want to do a character who's able to use every part of his body to fight. And I just see this guy as like a big, long-reach brawler, kind of like a Monster Sagat, where he could just reach out one of his wings and just punch you with his knuckle, with his claw, like just. And I just picture him like closing them in around himself as his guard,
Yeah.
Wings.
Yeah, I feel you. Like he's a slow, like kind of long range guy. He controls space very well. He's beefy. He might have super armor. No, I love it. I love it. What is your least favorite part about what you did? Well, let us into that head a little bit.
My least favorite part are probably the legs. I feel like I didn't think very well of those. They probably could have some ornamentation or something that would make them interesting. I wish I had. I think overall, what I would have liked is I wish I had more time to flesh this guy out, because I like. There's a lot of things that I like about this design. That I would probably either keep moving forward or maybe take them for an original character of mine or something. But yeah, definitely the legs, I think, is the weakest part of this design.
Hey, they're only a little bare, but the shape is strong. I'm sure everybody in the chat and everybody in this room loves the design as a whole, and I don't think the legs actually detract from the full design. And also you're on a back foot here because you weren't here for the last episode. I don't know if you saw, but Carlos, he drew beefy, awesome legs. So everybody here was able to rip off his design, but you probably didn't see it. But hey, thanks for exposing yourself to the camera and showing us all the good stuff. I love it. I love
awesome. It looks like
Right?
it looks like totally like something that would be in a game, or like some game art for like Street Fighter or like Darkstalkers, the old classic monster game.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you nailed the art style.
That's pretty dope. Good
thanks
job,
a lot.
man.
I appreciate it.
Great. It's amazing.
Excelente, as they say in your homeland. All righty. All right. Carlos Mendoza III. Tell me, is the sequel any better than the original?
I don't know. You guys tell me.
Well, I have to meet your great grandfather or whatever. Your grandpa. He was the original one.
All right, let's go.
All right. Let's see.
I thought you were talking about the sequel, as in like the next design from Demona. Yeah, my dad's super cool.
Okay. Cool. Let's see what you.
Right now?
Yeah, I see my beautiful face, my hair. I'm
Wow,
looking
yeah,
great.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
What?
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Am I sharing it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Background to this guy. In
Yeah,
case
the
you guys
horns,
forgot, this guy's a toy designer. Okay.
Yeah,
What?
so I'm a toy designer by trade. Like I used to do toys. You guys,
Yeah.
and then I moved to New Jersey to create monsters for Spirit Halloween now. So I'm doing monster designs and creature stuff here. So I'm excited for it. So, and yeah, I wanted to do something unique and different with Goliath. Since the last time I didn't really push Demona that much, I think I wanted to push Goliath a lot more, just because his name just kind of like speaks for itself. It's just a beast of a creature, and so I really wanted to amp him up as far as like his shapes and his form and stuff like that. And that's pretty much, yeah, I had fun doing this one. It was a lot of fun. I actually put Demona next to him and they look like they belong together, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I just wanted to try something unique. I was doing my research on Goliath, and he, I started seeing that a lot of his character features were not like pushed, you know what I mean, very hard in the cartoon. I think, his little horns that he had, I really wanted to beef him up a lot more. And because I'm a big fan of, the Warcraft genre, and I wanted to kind of use that kind of influence in this design. And so I pushed pretty much all the proportions to the maximum, and trying to see if I can make him read like the character still, but at the same time, just almost like he just like hulked out. You know what I mean? Like, what would happen if Goliath just went beast mode, and what would he look like? And so, like, if you guys look carefully, like he actually has dreads. I gave him dreadlocks.
Yo, that's so dope.
So the dreads were just like was something that I wanted to just add, just because again, it's something unique, and I think his hair, because he has a flat top in the cartoon. I wanted to just give him dreads, just because I don't know, just why not, right? And I gave him the piercing on his horn just to kind of give it a little bit more accent to to the storyline. He's just a barbaric monster or whatever, so I thought started push proportions. Pretty fun.
It's such an awesome quality you have with your work. The conscious decisions that you make to push any certain shape is really phenomenal.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, because even for Demona, you got more backgrounds too.
Well, I was playing around with them. I didn't know which one would work good, but I like this one.
It's even better, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I like how you solved the wing question by having it come out of his tricep, almost as a kind of vestigial appendage. It's a pretty neat design.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I wasn't sure how I was going to connect it, but I figured, because I was looking at my triceps, because they're that big. Figured just kidding, they're not that big. But I was just thinking about anatomy and making sure that it's believable, even with the proportions being pushed. So that was the idea.
And him having a beefy tail also makes a lot of sense, because you need some decent counterweight for the big arms and the wings and the heavy horns, and the legs aren't like the legs really have to be light for him to be able to fly. So I like that it makes sense.
Thanks.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No,
Thanks,
it's
guys.
awesome. It is so awesome.
I'm in love with the horns, man.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, the horns I wanted to do like the black tips, like bulls. Just kind of black tipped them, shining them up, and then I think he worked out okay. I was okay with the way he came out, and again, when I put Demona right next to him, I like that they both kind of complemented each other, like they were ready for like action. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited for this one. Yeah, and the beefy tail was like I remember the crocodile from, believe it or not, from the Disney movie. What's it called? The Princess and the Frog. And I remember that the crocodile had this big fat tail, like it was just massive. And I just remember, I'm like, man, that'd be pretty funny to just make him a fat tail like that. And it actually worked out good in the proportions with it. So
yeah, no, I could totally see the influence there. That's awesome. What is, if you had to pick a thing though, what's your favorite? What's your favorite thing about your piece? I know there's a lot to pick from.
I would probably say probably probably his horns, I think, and his dreads, I think, were pretty fun detail to him. I think because he doesn't have them that exaggerated, and his hair is not like that. I think that's what I like about it, because they actually worked for him. I think it worked in his favor, because it showed like an action shot of him. Rather than doing like small horns, I don't think it would have read as cool, you know. And I think the horns really, really brought it out. You know what I mean? Really, really told a story for him.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, that whole area, the eyes, the nose, the horns, the dreads. I like my coffee black, just like metal. No. that whole area is just it oozes personality, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love expressions, dude. A lot of my sketches that I post on Instagram, like I think I do a lot of facial expression stuff. I do a lot of studies, so I really like that when characters have expression and they can hold their own just on their expression, and I think that's what I like to push a lot with my work. So,
well, it definitely shows. It definitely shows.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Saying the truth. You don't have to thank me for saying the truth. Come on, beautiful. All right, but just so everybody knows, we're artists and we're good. Our work looks kind of superhuman to a lot of normal people. But let us know kind of your least favorite thing about your penguin.
I would probably say probably his wings. I think would be probably, because I didn't. Again, it's just time-wise. I wish I would have spent a little more time. I think the same thing happened with Demona last time. I keep wanting to call her Moana, but Demona last time, I think I left the wings at the end because I felt that obviously the character itself needs to be the center of attention, and so I think the wings I could have done a little bit more with them. But I think I like how it shapes him like in a circle, almost like in a bubble. But yeah, I think the wings would have been something I would like to spend a little bit more time on.
I feel that. But I mean, the concept though, like you said, it comes through. And honestly, I think that the wings, like the sharp edge you have there, frames the best parts of your image.
Right on.
And the rest area is just so perfectly placed. I think you did an amazing job. I think
Thanks.
Everybody here would agree.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
And also, if you're gonna make this a toy, I'm gonna give you my address.
Great.
Thanks, man. I wish you know what if I knew 3D if I knew how to 3D model, man, I would model this guy for sure. Like he was a really fun one. So if anybody out there want a 3D model, hit me up. I love to see him live.
Hell yeah. We'll connect you with the right people. That's what Monstier's for. All right. Great stuff.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Well, Kanji, I would like you to expose yourself. And before that, though, tell me a little bit about...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no. I want you to talk. I want to get you in this conversation. We want to know you. You're an interesting guy. You definitely are. I want to ask you, though, what does Goliath mean to you personally? Like, as a concept.
Right. What does Goliath to me as a concept? That's an interest. I don't know. From what I remember, I think he always just stood out to me as this character who was kind of this reliable rock, if you'll forgive the pun. Like, he didn't always make necessarily the rules, but he always had the right intention. Actually ended up doing the right thing. Yeah,
definitely a rock solid leader, and nobody took him for granted. They would think back to him.
I guess I don't really have much more to say.
No, I feel you. No, that's okay. I mean, if that's what he meant to you, that's what he meant to you, right? Yeah, there's a little bit of lag on our end, so if you'll bear with us. I do, though, however, would like you, Kanji, to expose yourself, show us a little bit about.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I actually think like if you had Xanatos, I could give you a more interesting end.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, sadly, we do have lag, a lot of lag, between me and you. Our conversation is a little bit choppy, but maybe at a later date we will talk
Can
about
you hear me?
Thanatos. Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. But I would like you to show us your
Awesome.
Goliath if you can.
Awesome, yes.
Actually, how about this?
Okay, let
Let's
me
change
just
things.
refresh the. Let me
Yeah,
just refresh.
let's change this up. While Kanji's figuring out his technical difficulties, let's just move on. We'll get back to it. I promise. And Jonathan, how are you?
Cool.
Cool. Well, then let's extend that same question to you, John. Before you show us what you got going on, and it looks great, by the way.
Oh,
Oh my
nice.
God! And leave it up. Let everybody soak it in while you tell us a little bit about what Goliath means to you. Like, oh my God, this is cool.
Okay,
Nice.
so first of all, I couldn't do it in 3D for lack of time,
Mm,
so I decided to go full 2D on this one
okay.
and continuing with the same line as Demona as I did before. So trying to imagine how this could like in a real film, or if someone could portray Goliath in real life using prosthetics and that.
Yeah.
So I went in that direction again. So can you see he has a big bear? Sorry, see, yeah, bird,
Yeah.
and very buffy, muscle, even a bit fat. He's like the alpha male of the team. He's the leader, so he should be the strongest one of all of them. So I
Yeah.
wanted to portray that into his design. So yeah, pretty much that's it.
That's so cool. And it's so refreshing to see your 2D styles. It's awesome to see that this guy, not only can he do
Thank you.
3D and cinematic style stuff, he can also paint like a badass. So, yeah, everybody, like, look at this guy. He can do it all.
I try.
Uh, so, tell me a little bit about those scars. And is that a pattern or are those scars? What's going on?
Yeah, that's to tell something of his story. He's a warrior, so probably he had been in a lot of fights. So that's why I added some scars in there.
That's so cool. That's so cool. His haircut's cool. His beard's cool. Uh, is that leather belt he has? Is that like interwoven pieces over a
Yes.
plate or hard leather?
Yeah, hard leather.
That's so cool. That's so cool, man. Yeah, good job. What is your favorite thing about this whole thing?
I will say the face and the chest area because
Yeah.
and the wings too. I like the shape of
The wings look pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's my favorite part. It's where I put a bit more of effort. And
Cool.
my least favorite part that I couldn't spend more time on it due to some work and some overtime I'm having. But yeah, pretty much that's it. If I could have more time, probably I would take it to a bit further into the work.
Mm. Well, what about the piece specifically? How did the time constraints affect your decisions, and what didn't you get around to?
Yeah, so this is a PZ. I pretty much did some sketches. Maybe I can show it. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, let's see.
Pretty basic sketches,
Oh,
trying
cool.
to build ideas for him. But pretty much this one was the one who convinced me. Like probably I should go full Hulk on this one.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying that if you had more time, you would have wanted to spend more time in the ideation process and really think about like a cooler idea? Is that what it was?
More in the refining the piece.
Okay. I feel you. Well, it definitely doesn't look unrefined by professional standards. So you're kicking ass, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
No, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Hell yeah. All right. Great piece.
I could see Jason Momoa playing this character in a movie.
I was just thinking about that.
Wow.
He will need to get a little bit of a beer gut though.
You could pay him for it.
Yeah.
Pay him for it. Yeah, dude. Yeah, nice zoom in. Look at the Jason Momoa zoom in. No, that's cool.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, all right. Let's move on. Let's see. Kanji, what's your response time?
I don't know. How does this sound to you? Better?
So smooth. Let's see what you got, homie.
Okay, well, I'm going to try and preface this by saying that I switched over to using some new hardware and software a couple of days ago, and I did not finish what I started, so apologies for that. But I'll show off what I got.
Alrighty. Yeah, he recently got what was it? MacBook Pro, you said?
iPad Pro, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've been getting an earful about how much better this is than Photoshop and how responsive it is. It really, you can't blame the guy. He's saying some good shit.
Okay, let me just pull up some images.
Ooh.
Cool.
So this was my first kind of test, both of using Procreate on the iPad Pro and for this design. So I kind of wanted to make him a bit bigger, more hunched over, animalistic, play up on some bat features, like the nose, for example. Try and make the wings make a little bit more anatomical sense, although I never really got around to that from this angle, how they connect into the back and that kind of thing. I also try and give him some more clothing, like I figured with the whole like Celtic connection they had in the original series, maybe give him like a kilt or some tartan or something like that.
Yeah.
And, some jewelry. And this is where I got to before running out of time this afternoon, which is unfortunate. But I'll probably go back and try and finish this off and polish it up later.
Wait, this wasn't done on a piece of paper, was it?
No, this was done in Procreate.
Wow. Hey, sponsor us, Procreate. Look at how amazing he's making your program look. Oh my god.
I thought that looked like a traditional sketch. Holy shit.
Yeah, it looks like it's drawn with a pencil. This isn't even anything special. This is like the first default pencil in the brush tray.
That's crazy. That looks amazing, dude.
Yeah, that does look traditional for sure.
Yeah, it's
annoyingly good.
Thanks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful.
Now you're making me invest in buying myself some
I really like
Apple products.
the silhouette of the character. That's what first jumped to me on the first illustration. Very strong silhouette. Very strong shape. I would love to see him with the wings because I think it would look amazing.
Yeah, I would like to go in and finish this one off and have like some of that detail around him.
Yeah, well, we would love to see it. I mean, if you ever do go back to that first one, be sure to post it in Monstieur Mash on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. We always encourage everybody to post
like
all
this
their
one.
redesigns. Oh yeah, go ahead, John.
Reminds me a lot to Man-Bat from Batman.
Yeah, I was trying to bulk him up to kind of avoid making him look too much like that, because once I started dropping in some kind of bat-like features, like the slightly elongated forearms and the bat nose and things like that. I was like, oh great, I've just done Man-Bat again. Better beef him up a little bit so he's not so obviously like that.
Mm.
Yeah, but it looks cool anyway.
It was awesome, yeah.
Looks so cool.
I love the kill idea. That's like such a unique thing to even choose to put on them. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I wish I'd had more time to finish this off and develop that a little bit, having some like Celtic leather armor and a kilt and some tartan on him.
That's cool.
Yeah. Look at the difference between the two designs. By the way, like Kanji was obviously still thinking about changing up the design in this illustration. He has a shoulder piece with the belts. Look at that belt buckle. It's like way more kick-ass. I'm sure if you had like, I don't know, even 5 more hours, we would see something totally different.
I really like the shoulder piece, actually.
Thanks. Yeah, I think if I had like another day to finish this off, it would be a really good-looking drawing. But unfortunately, I didn't. So here we are.
It's cool.
Well, it looks great, man. It even still now looks great, and I can't wait to see the finished version when you do get to it. You better. I'll be on your ass about it.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully now I'm getting the hang of how to use this thing and this software and the pencil, the Apple Pencil. That if I use this again for the next Monstieur, I'll actually have something that's finished. So
Yeah.
that's something, I guess.
Yeah. Let me know what was your favorite part about this design?
Favorite part about this design, I did some trying to get the silhouette and the anatomy down. Was just done some loose paper sketches, and the ideas came together fairly quickly. I think I like that I didn't deviate too far from the original, because I think that's actually a pretty solid design, if a little simplistic. But then again, it's designed for animation, so it kind of has to be in a way.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing for me personally was the idea of giving him some more elaborate clothing, because I felt that was like the one real weak point of the original design. He's just got this kind of loincloth and belt buckle. It's like not the most inspiring costume. I felt like he deserved something a little bit better.
Yeah, like a leader would have. Just like a little bit of adornment, but not crazy, because he's still supposed to be an underdog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd almost like to see the other one that's like on the ledge or on the beak of the gargoyle at the rooftop. Like, I think it'd be awesome if he because he reminded me of he was about to jump in Assassin's Creed. Like if he just had assassin stuff, just gear on, you know what I mean? Because he has that shoulder piece and he's just ready to go to town. I'd love to see him look a little Assassin's Creed-ish. It'd be pretty cool.
Dude, a Gargoyles video game would be awesome. Not to digress too much, but
No, yeah, dude, I agree.
You could climb, and then you could fucking jump off of a high place.
Fly, yeah. You can fly, yeah, or glide, yeah, like Batman. It's like a Batman game.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
That would be so awesome. Okay.
I saw one of the episodes a while ago when we was doing what's her name, Demona. And I saw that Goliath was climbing this building, and he was just digging his claws on the walls, and I was like, damn, that's like some property damage. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, this guy just destroying this building. Pretty funny.
Yeah, destruction effects would be so crazy in that type of game. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kanji, back to you. Sorry. Little tangent.
It's okay. That's a good tangent. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Get Rocksteady on making a Gargoyles game.
Oh my God! You hear that, Rocksteady? We came up with it. We want royalties.
They should hire us for the designs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, links in the description, everybody. So, just so you guys know, you can find all the artists in the description. We have the master list. So if you just want to get in touch with any of these cool dudes or just engorge yourself with some beautiful eye candy, they are in the description and on our page. But anyway, Kanji, again, we always keep going, diverting our attention from you, the star of Red Now. What's your least favorite?
I think you can all guess what this is going to be. The fact it isn't finished.
Okay.
I was thinking about that. That's exactly what he's gonna say.
Yeah, just I hate the fact I wasn't able to finish this in time, especially seeing as I got off to what I felt was like a pretty strong start with it. So
Okay, so to do yourself justice, what would this look like? Give us a little play-by-play real quick. What would it look like at the very end of it?
okay, at the very end of this, like obviously all of the shading kind of resolved and the forms mapped out, the clothing, wings, etc. finished, and all the buildings in the background detailed with appropriate shadows and windows and things like that, and other architectural details. So yeah.
So you'd have like more eagle. I just put 2 and 2 together. I love that eagle. Could you imagine more?
Oh yeah, there's a hint of one off to the side there, like to show it's like an architectural feature.
That is so cool. That is so amazing. Well, thank you, Kanji. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. This man's a regular. He's faithful. Give him a round of applause.
No, don't. I didn't finish. This is terrible.
Admonish him. 40 lashes.
Just take
Yeah.
it up, Kenji.
It's time for my trip to the shame cube.
Well, all right.
It's time for you to put on the rock of shame.
Well, while you're in the shame cube thinking about what you did, Alex.
Oh my god.
Yes.
How can I put up with it after all I've seen?
Right. Just going up after amazing artists. You gotta have some confidence in yourself. Hey, a gargoyle does not whine. Heroes.
Exactly. Imagine that. Even though I started a bit late to work on this, I almost kind of finished it, not quite, but I was listening to all the discussions we had tonight, and I was drawing on that based on those discussions. And let's see if you like what you see.
All right.
Come on, Photoshop, do as I say. Okay.
Do as I command. I'm working on my David's impression. Gargoyles inspired me. Do as I command.
Behold.
Holy.
Dang. Look at that.
Damn.
So he's got lava core?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I was listening to the fact that he might turn into a tyrannical being, and I just went for it.
Dude.
Yeah, that definitely evokes that kind of feeling. Like he's kind of makes me feel like it's Goliath if he was completely consumed by his darker impulses.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
And starts fucking shit up.
That is so
very diabolic.
Honestly, your piece and the way you described it gets me to really, really dislike the 3rd season of Gargoyle.
Sorry for ruining your childhood.
Oh my god, man. Like, this is such an amazing concept. And I really can't understate it. Like, he actually went there, guys. He went there.
You sure did. You sure did.
That's so cool. So tell us a little bit about what you did. Give us the play-by-play.
Yeah, I didn't want to do, the accessory things that he has on him, the shoulder armor, the belt and stuff. I was just went full statue, naked-ish statue, because that's why I put the leg up there. So, not everybody wants to see what's under there. And I just like to turn, many times I like to go full evil with many characters, because like we've talked in previous sessions that most of the villains have a much more interesting story arc than the good guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why I just like to to emphasis on this much more and just go full evil.
I'm so glad that you actually, because I mean usually, and it's not a slight on you. I'm not jabbing you here.
Yeah.
But you usually take these characters into a very terrifying place, like a very horror centric place. For Tremors, if you guys watched the previous episodes, he made Bert into a graboid, and Bert a graboid with Bert's face. It was terrifying. And then for Beetlejuice, you did the Thing, but Beetlejuice coming out of it and being all creepy. And to see how your brain works in like a very serious setting, a very serious cinematic type thing, it's really honestly, it's an amazing experience for me personally, because I didn't even consider that the character could be done this way.
Oh, thanks.
So awesome.
It's I've seen it all started. I think I could blame, but in the good way, Tim Burton for that, because I always loved the dark nature of his movies. And even though the characters are good, or but the vibe, and I just exploit that and just go from there.
Yeah.
And then of course villains from a variety of comics or games or cinematics or movies. So that's why I like to see something more how to say imposant. Oh my god, I'm terrible some English words.
Yeah.
It's still not my first language. Just wait a second. I have the translation Google.
No problem. Take your time.
Imposing. Exactly. Imposing postures. Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
He does look imposing. He does.
Yeah. And just like there was a scene in the Two Towers in the Lord of the Rings, when Saruman creates the Uruk-hai, and that Uruk-hai just gets out of the dirt and just lifts his arm. Look at his arms, with clenched fingers, and before Saruman asks him, "Who do you serve?"
Yeah.
And just that scene, the camera movement, the camera panning towards the Uruk-hai, from below to top, was, oh my god, that's pure evil, and I loved it.
It definitely shows. Definitely shows. It's just that raw vibe. Yeah.
It's the final form of the evil. After that, you cannot do anything to stop it or to avoid it. It's inevitable. That's it. It's point of no return.
That's so cool. Well,
I love how painterly this looks too. The background looks very, very like classically painted. Like it looks really nice.
Yeah, at first I tried to use comic book style coloring, but I'm kind of tired of that, and I just combined some background textures with some custom brushes, and
very nice.
Thanks, and just went from there.
You know what this really reminds me of, like top to bottom? This is like a really good illustration from Heavy Metal, like something Simon Bisley.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm also a fan of that magazine.
It's got that kind of like really Simon Bisley quality of the really exaggerated musculature, the dynamic lighting, the textures, everything. I really like that a lot.
I wish I could be as good as Bisley at coloring, because that guy has some crazy color range, but I don't want to do a copy paste.
Right.
you know.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned Lord of the Rings because I also see a little bit of that aesthetic influence, especially on his head design.
Yeah,
There's a lot of design philosophy from Lord of the Rings that I think could apply to this illustration, and it's pretty cool. I think it's a very cool combination.
I always use, I watch movies on daily basis. I'm something like a movie leech, but I always watch the good ones from that I can be inspired upon. So that's why I take small details, and you can, have resemblance in my work.
I feel that. And by the way, you're getting love in the chat as well. We got Rudy Rodriguez saying it's the Romanian vampire.
Yeah.
They can tell. They know you.
Vampire blood on illustration.
Hmm. Totally. Let me know a little bit about what you think about your own piece, though. What's your absolute favorite part about your piece?
I don't know how to say it. I like the that I'm happy that I got a posture. It's exactly when the moment when he becomes full demon or full tyrant, and he just opens his wings just to show how big and powerful he has become. And I wanted to, at first I wanted to do some round shaped horns, but I was thinking those we've seen in one of the works those kind of horns, and I just changed them into more like to have a resemblance to Sauron's helmet.
Yeah, it looks like a crown.
Yeah,
100%. The helmet really just, or not the helmet, but his head. It sells everything about this piece. I think if you messed up on or if you didn't do the head as well as you did, I don't think the piece would have held up. And that's not a slight on the rest of the piece. That's more so just how well you did the head and how much of an impact it has on the audience. It's amazing.
Yeah, and at first I wanted to do a humane face, but I didn't stay in the same place and change it to something which is not quite just a second to do a zoom in.
Oh yeah, please do. Let's see.
The head. This is the head shape.
Yeah.
And this is the neck, and I just want you don't see quite any expression on his face. That's why you never know how does he feel towards anything.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely just a little happy face, obviously. Well,
he's happy because it's about to destroy the world. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Amazing job.
Yeah, great job on this one. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really cool.
Absolutely great.
Like just the vibe.
I was just during this session I was just finishing this piece, so I'm happy that it's done. Quite.
Yeah. He literally finished this minutes before he got on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hear that, Kanji? No, I'm joking. I'm kidding. I joke. Well, what do you think you could have improved on if you had more time or whatever?
The lighting on the wings, because like I said, it's probably my first piece with reverse shadowing. The light coming from below, and it usually should have been some lightning here on the wings.
Yeah.
But not too much, not to distract attention from his face and his posture.
I feel that. Well, in any case, Alicia Abandamations in chat actually says that she really enjoys the wings and the highlights. So take that for what you will.
Ooh, thank you.
Yes, people like it. But I do see what you mean. I mean, if the light's coming from the bottom, the wings are up high like this, you might see some shadow or some light like hitting the wings from underneath. So
Yeah,
I feel you.
I could have made the wings, smoky, smoke effect on the wings, but I didn't want to go back to the Raziel session,
Yeah.
that I did.
Dude, your Raziel piece was so good. Oh my god, I was just looking at it the other night.
Oh, thanks. Oh, shit. Nice.
Man, yeah, if you guys haven't seen his stuff, you should really check it out. That Raziel came out great, all the bugs and stuff. On that arm.
That's the next one I'm going to try to sculpt it in ZBrush after I finish the crank.
Oh, be sure to post it, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be, I really want to see that. I do not want to miss it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for showing us your
Thank
awesome
you.
work.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Really like that one.
Yeah, the vibe. It's just so good.
Mm.
Vibe. Well, all right. I guess there's only one left.
Yep.
I have to go after you guys. Now I know what you feel like, Alex. Didn't think it'd be this hard. Jeez. All right. There goes all my energy. I have to show my stuff now. No, I actually had a really good time doing this piece. I pushed myself. I tried something new, and I'm sure you guys will see that this piece looks different than my other stuff. I'll show you. Hold your horses. Let me see. All right. Let's see. Can you see anything? Can you guys?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
There we go.
So that's what I got.
Cool.
Let's make it full screen. And stop.
Oh, that looks great.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I did the whole 3D photo bash technique for the first time in a long time, and I'm glad I was able to still pull it off. I wanted to take a cinematic approach with this shot, as you can see from the subtitles. The kid is giving Goliath a lot of well-earned wisdom. No, I'm joking. Goliath talking to the kid.
Yeah.
Tell him how to live his life. Be a father figure, leader. Kid got beat up a little bit. And,
But who says I just want to fit in?
the kid just wants to fit in, and he just recently got beat up by some bullies. He has like a little band-aid on his face, black eye, and probably something like Goliath saw the kid getting beat up at night, and he scared all the bullies away, and then he just started hanging out with the kid, brought him up to a rooftop, and just started talking about life. And the kid's expression on his face, he's just done. He's done the chicken.
Moment.
Yeah. I have this concept in my head that I've been thinking about for a while.
Yeah,
And
he's actually a very skinny kid. Like, his face is just really swollen from all the punching.
His whole body's just swollen.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on the Goliath? I want to see that.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the matter at hand. Man, fuck that kid. That kid ain't shit. So, so what I wanted to do with thanks.
He's fucking great.
Pretty cool, man. The lighting, so dramatic.
Yeah, and the glowing white eyes. Oh my god. Yummy.
It really does feel like this, and your Demona piece are really part of like you could, if you made a few more of those, you could have like a portfolio for a Gargoyles film.
Yeah.
Because they really do look like stills from a movie.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that we should just use this episode and send it to Rocksteady so that they can make the goddamn game already and hire them. Right?
Yeah, but also make them to sign an NDA, not to steal our concepts.
Yeah.
Exactly. We gotta
Right.
be. You hear that, artist? Writing contracts is half the job.
Exactly.
No.
But yeah, with this piece, I just I wanted to take a little bit more of a architectural approach to his anatomical features. So I wanted the features to kind of look like a Gothic cathedral.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has like I don't know if you can see this little circle. You guys can see this little
Yeah.
circle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so he has like these archways built out of skin on his face and his abs and
Nice.
obliques, and they
Looks great.
yeah, and they're made out of like skin flaps and stuff.
Yep.
And I was surprised that of how well the horns on his elbows and his ears also they all kind of fit that Gothic architecture aesthetic as well. So I didn't have to do much.
Hmm.
They all just lined up. Same thing with the knees. Same thing with the wings. They all have firm tips. Firm tips.
Firm tits.
Firm tits. Dude, Goliath is the king of firm tits. He got pegs. He benches, man. But yeah, the horns, the wings, all the shapes, they totally jived, and I just pushed what was already there and added those Gothic architecture motifs, and it all just kind of ended up being cohesive. So I'm really happy about that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting.
Yeah, I agree
take.
that if you were to bring your Demona and drop her in the background in the sky, and he just looking at her in the air, like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like the Demona scene and this scene are happening at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. That's cool.
So like Demona is like laying siege to some place, and the cops are shining the lights on her,
Yep.
and then it cuts to this like Goliath just like giving a kid a pep talk, and then
Yeah.
like Hudson would show up and Goliath, there's trouble.
Oh man, yeah, that would be cool. I'm getting chills because like they probably, if this was a movie and Demona was like wreaking havoc somewhere, it would probably be something like their themes of what Goliath is talking about with the kid and what Demona is doing in her inner monologue.
Yeah.
They would be kind of mirrored and also opposite. They would foil each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Why aren't we in the industry already, man? Let's just make cool ass shit.
We don't need to be in the industry. We could make our own production studio and just went berserk from there.
Let's do it. The Monstieur production studio. I
Yep.
love it. That's what this is gonna end up being, man.
Oh, if this is gonna let's just say this is gonna become a reality, I'm in.
I think you guys. I think the Monster should just have like a museum and just have like an art show with all the art that's been put out.
Dude, like in real life.
Yeah, like have printouts and just make it like very like these cool frames for all this great artwork. Just put it in display for people to come look at it. Pretty dope.
Well, we could do that.
Yeah, it's an easy thing. It's like find a
The
spot.
Demona piece was so amazing in like a large scale print.
Yeah.
I would buy it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Thanks.
This
man.
one too, but the Demona is just like this one. What it has going for is just like it really does feel like a strain from like a still from a film. I can almost hear like the characters. I just want to fit in, but maybe you were going to.
Maybe you were born to stand out instead.
Arnold your Goliath.
It's probably gonna be CG. Arnold can totally.
Dude.
Take my.
You should just get Ron Perlman to play him.
Is what the Celtic accent is supposed to sound like.
Imagine Arnold trying to sound Scottish or Irish.
Yo, no, I think he should.
Top of the morning to you.
Oh damn.
Yeah, no, Arnold could probably play Goliath, but I think I'd still want Keith David to do the voice, like they do what they did with Darth Vader or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it wouldn't be much different because Arnold, he would still have the tooth gap, so you could be able to hear the tooth gap. They both do.
Yeah. The wind whistles through his gap.
Yes. Well, I guess to conclude, my favorite thing about this piece, Rudy Rodriguez in the chat said, "Fly in the chopper." Oh man. My favorite part about this piece has to be, I want to say, just figuring out new ways to do rain.
Yeah, the rain looks cool.
Yeah,
Everything looks cool, but
thanks, man. I appreciate it. I think the rain, just experimenting with that and figuring out all the different ways I could do it and putting it all together was really awesome. Because weirdly enough, there aren't really any good tutorials to do rain online, so I really just had to create like a lot of, and that's not a insult to anybody who did create tutorials. It just wasn't for me. Okay, so we don't want any hate, man. But yeah, it wasn't for me. It didn't give me the effect I wanted. So I really just did it on my own, and I really like.
There's one thing you should do. It's just a suggestion. To make the rain a bit to stand out more, and also for the characters to be big in front a bit better, is to do a bokeh, or I don't know how to pronounce that word, bokeh effect on the city.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, depth of field.
Yeah.
You know,
I did it a little bit, but it was more just Gaussian blur. I should have. Yeah, I could have done like a little bit more bokeh. You're right.
To get it like actually looking like bokeh, you need to do a hell of a lot of work to get like every light source in every window being distorted into a circle or sphere.
there are some filters or plugins that can do that easily.
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna have to give me that secret knowledge for the next one then. You'll definitely be hearing from me.
Okay.
I guess to finish off my presentation for my piece, I guess what I could have improved on was kind of staying on task. I created this piece with kind of a cinematic shot in mind, and I just wanted to be super wholesome with it. And although I'm okay with how Goliath turned out. You know, towards the end of it, I was just really like considering the possibilities of how he could have turned out, and how I could have really pushed like a lot of shapes to be bolder, and I think that was just the reason why it didn't turn out like that. Because with Demona, I fucking nailed it with that whole overarching 2D design shape, you know, the heart with the wings doing the thing. And I think I wasn't as bold with my shapes with this, and that was more of a consequence of both my intention of creating a cinematic shot and the process of using 3D first, and I did sketches, I did thumbnails, but I didn't really put too much, as much thought into the actual design of Goliath that I should have.
I know what you mean, because if I could give out one criticism for this piece, is definitely that if I compare it to Demona, because even if we see Demona from afar, she has a very, very strong shape, and her proportions look is not how any human, male or female, would look realistically, which is which is great for the character, because she's not human; she's a gargoyle. And this one very much seems like someone could wear this as a prosthetic, and it would look really convincing, but he would still look like kind of like a human underneath. And I think maybe that you could have pushed that a little bit more, like you did with Demona. It's a very minor criticism. It still looks amazing. It looks very life. If anything, it adds to the quality of it looking very lifelike. So you could almost say that Demona is probably a CGI shot, and this one is an actual guy in a suit, which has its own merits by a lot. So it's just that maybe it's just a little bit of stylistic discrepancy there, but I think it's only a criticism if it's compared to the other piece. In this one, it works perfectly fine, because we're looking at a cinematic shot.
Yeah, no, totally. I feel you there. Demona was definitely more well thought out in terms of proportions, and and thanks, by the way, for mentioning the fact that this one does work more cinematically, and that was the intention. So in a lot of respects, I did achieve what I set out to do. And I think just to vent a little bit, I think a lot of artists, myself included and myself especially, we set out to do something, and we might actually achieve what we're trying to do, and then we like beat ourselves up for not doing something else, and I think a lot, and whoever out there needs to hear this, if you achieved what you set out to do, you won. And if you're beating yourself up for the stuff that you didn't do, that you didn't set out to do in the first place, stop it. You're hurting yourself. That's dumb.
Stop it. Get help.
Stop it. Get help. All right. Well, shoot, that was fun. All right. I'm glad you guys liked the piece.
Yeah.
It was good, man.
I'm still gonna talk about the eyes, because I've never seen, or I don't remember seeing white eyes on a villain or a demonic creature anywhere. Only red or yellow or orange-ish, brownish, something like that. Never white, glowing white.
Well, I believe, unless I'm remembering wrong, that he did have white eyes in the.
He does have
in the cartoon when he gets into violence mode.
Yeah, but since then, I've never seen.
Yeah, it's such an awesome design decision, isn't it? Like, it makes the character stand out in the night.
Even more makes it stand out.
Yeah, and if he's in the sky, it's just like this black silhouette with two eyes that kind of look like stars.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah, well, that's cool. No, those eyes are awesome. Shout outs to the people who made that character design, and
shout out to Eyes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Eyes. Thanks for helping us see the terror of the world. Let me screen share my face so that I can do a proper outro. Not an outro, but you know what I'll say. All right. Boom.
Back to your awesome hair after these messages.
The Paul hair. Yeah. Speaking of which, next time on Monstieur,
yes.
the votes are in.
Yeah.
And we are doing Yoshimitsu.
I'm in.
Kanji's in.
I'm in.
Kanji made that guy. You're in, Alex?
Yep.
Hell yeah. We already got a rockstar crew. Hey, okay. Well, I ain't going to pressure the rest of you, but I'm so glad that, that I'm going to have Kanji and Alex. We're already going to have a good time.
But are you gonna be in?
Me? Hell yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm taking over this show. Maybe we ran it to the ground, but maybe we can run it into the ground a little bit more. We can fuck this shit up.
Oh man, I'm going to be doing nothing for the next 2 weeks but drawing Yoshimitsu. My God.
Oh my God,
Amazing.
yes.
You're going to have to do it justice. He's your main. He's your boy.
Yeah, he is my boy.
It's interesting that from all the characters from Tekken or also Soul Calibur, because Yoshimitsu is in that too.
Yes.
Yoshimitsu stands out the most.
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah. Yeah, completely. He's always been not just standing out aesthetically, but even his gameplay. But anyway, we digress. But I know we're excited.
The hype is real.
The hype is real, guys. Tune in next time. See us redesign Yoshimitsu. I really hope you guys liked this episode of Goliath. I hope that I wasn't too obnoxious. Right now, my mental state, I didn't really sleep. I'm only held up by caffeine, nicotine, and a dream. You know what I'm saying? You've been there. Yeah, so I hope you guys have a good one. And before we roll out the outro, I just want to say, like, comment, subscribe if you liked the material we showed today. What does Goliath mean to you? And do you think that his delusion is necessary for his goals? And do you even think he's going to be a tyrant like in Alex's awesome fucking painting? No problem, man. Tell us what you think in the comments below. And if you want to participate in the Monstieur community, please join the bustling community we have on Facebook. We're also on Insta, Twitter. We got a Discord group. Things are popping. We're even going to have more series and stuff. Stay tuned. It's going to be awesome. I've talked enough.
This episode is not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
This episode is, in fact, sponsored by Apple. You get Procreate, people. All right, I've talked long enough. Roll the outro. Roll the outro.
Ah, yes, that was fantastic. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, I had quite a crush on Demona back in the day. Button all the socials and be notified for the next show. Until next time. Remember to